take a look and see what we've got in here. I'm hoping they're going to be okay because it is very hot here. And then I'm assuming this is maybe my invoice. Yes, it is, so I won't open that. Okay, so now I'm not sure what this is going to be, whether it's... Oh, so I'm assuming this was maybe a cold pack. I'm not sure, maybe. But it's not very cold now either way, but that's maybe not to be expected because it is very, very hot where we are. So we've also got some food by the looks of things there, and another one as well. So that'll be interesting to see what they make of that. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got going on in here. So they're in styrofoam cups and they've got holes through them, and this is going to be 5. Oh, this is the purple ones, so these are the ones that are very, very, very difficult to find. So let's take a look. I think maybe if I take it out, well, that is still very wet, so that's good. Okay, so gosh, this is frightened of hurting them. Wow, that's a lot of dirt, a lot of dirt. Okay, so I don't know whether the colour's going to show up here in the light, so what I will probably do is just get them out for now, and then I will put them out so that you can actually see them. So I'm just going to open them all up and then we can go from there. But we have definitely got 5 in here. It looks like varying sizes as well. So gosh, a lot of dirt in here. This is kind of gross. All right, so like I say, I don't think the colour's going to show up very well, particularly in this light, but these are definitely purple, which is great. And I only see 4. Oh, I think there's another one maybe down there. So I'm going to just get all of these out and then I will show you guys. I do think that they were very well packaged. I will say that the containers were still the right way up in the packaging or in the box, but I didn't really like this, that there was a load of sort of leaves, or it was frog bit by the looks of things in this, so I wasn't really liking the snails were sort of all mixed up with plants, and the amount of dirt. I've never had snails shipped with this amount of dirt coming with them, but I do believe that she did take them out the day before and didn't feed them, so I guess they were maybe just holding it all in and they produced an awful lot of dirt on the way to us. They were actually, I think it was 3 days in shipping, so obviously they were quite a while as well, so I think that that probably did make a difference. I mean, that's not something that you can really have a great deal of control over, so I guess, you know, it's just one of those things. One thing I did start to notice when I was getting these were the magenta ones, was that the shells were actually breaking, and I was finding sort of like little bits within the packaging. You can actually see some there. Some of the shell has actually broken off. There was quite a lot of gravel in that particular one, so I don't know whether maybe that had caused damage during shipping. I'm not quite sure, but overall they were in okay condition. So I've just taken them out of the box and then I've added them into this little bit of water in these containers. So these are the purples in here, and then in this one are the magenta, and I am going to put all these in one tank. I have noticed that these have started to move around, and as they move around then I sort of will add a little more water, and then eventually I'll put them into the tank they're going into. Now the thing with mystery snails is they can take a while to sort of get moving again once they've been through shipping. Obviously shipping them, they've been in very little water, they've been in cramped conditions, and so they haven't moved around a lot, they've not eaten much, so it is normal for them to take a while to actually get moving. So it's a really good sign that there's actually 3 in this one that are moving, but as yet there's none in here moving. So I'm just going to monitor them over the next few hours, and as they start to move, in fact I noticed there's one, that one there is just like put his little antennas out. I think he's just trying to figure out what's going on. So I will actually get some footage at the end. Unfortunately the colours are just not showing in this light, so hopefully once they go into their tank then we'll be able to get a really good idea of colours. I do see on this one and several of the others there is some shell damage, and so I'm hoping that a good diet with the calcium and that will soon repair, but we'll just have to wait and see on that. So these guys are really sort of awake and active. Well, there's 2 haven't moved yet, but 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the 6 have. She has sent me a few extra. I think 2, 4, 6, I think it was 1 extra in here, and I think, let's see what we've got, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 in here, so an extra one in here as well. Sometimes people do that in case a snail doesn't make it, and then that way you've got sort of the extra one as well. So really excited to start a breeding program with these, and hopefully we will be able to produce some of these gorgeous colours ourselves. So on this one here you can see there is a fair bit of shell damage, and I think it was this one as well, the same thing. So all the purple ones have woken up really quickly. They've all been moving around, so I am going to add these into the tank that they're going into. And the other ones, we still don't have anybody awake in here just yet, so this one I think it's going to be a little while longer that I will just leave them to acclimate in this water. So I have added some cuttlebone into the tank, which is this here, and then what I also did, I actually put some up and into the coconut hut, and that way there is actually some then down in the bottom. They don't really eat it, it's more there that it will just slowly dissolve over time, and then that will put calcium into the water. The more I'm sort of looking at these shells, some of them do have quite a bit of damage on them, and so I think that the more calcium we can get in here, the better. The food that they're eating, which this little one is chowing down on now, has a lot of calcium in it as well, so hopefully it won't take too long for the shells to get better. I do notice that that one, this purple one right here, I do notice that one actually has a crack on the edge of the shell, so I'm hoping that that will also heal. So I'm going to leave these guys to settle in. As you can see, some of the magenta ones have not really started moving once I've transferred them into the tank. So I'm going to turn the light out and let them find the food, and then I'll try and get some more footage a bit later on, or maybe even tomorrow. So these snails are in a 10-gallon tank right now, and this is a little overstocked for this many snails. I do want to just put that out there, but we are planning on getting a bigger tank, so this is the tank that we're just going to hold them in for the time being, and then they will actually be moving tanks. Now the difference between the magenta and the purple, obviously you can see a difference in the colour, but also is in the foot, what they call the foot of the snail, which is in the purple one is darker. I don't know whether you can see right there, sort of where the mouth is coming out, how dark it is. That's the purple one, and then the magenta one on the other side has like the white or the cream, it's probably more cream or yellow foot, and that's the same when you have the blues and the ivories. The ivory has the cream foot with the orange spots, and then the blue one has the dark sort of black blue foot as well. So this is one of the ways that you can actually tell them apart, tell the difference of them. But I'm very pleased with these, and I'm hoping that as time goes on, obviously they've got to get a lot bigger. They are only quite small right now, which they are an ideal shipping size, and sometimes people will ship them smaller than this, sometimes people will ship larger as well, so it just really depends. So one thing I have noticed with these snails, this is the next day, and just look at all that mess. I mean, just totally gross. And what I have noticed is they do seem to have produced an excessive amount of waste. Now we do have a lot of snails in this tank here, and that one's floating down to the bottom, and we have not had anywhere near the amount of waste in here. There are as many snails in here as we have in this one, and I think what it is down to diet and what they're actually fed. And so if the diet is maybe not quite as good, or with a lot of foods, very often there is a lot of waste because there's a lot of fillers, so it does depend on the food. And I don't know if that is the case with these snails and what they've been fed as they've been brought up, but I have never seen snails produce so much waste. So it's going to be really interesting to maybe see, once they've been fed our diet for a while, if they're still producing this excessive amount of waste. A lot of you have been asking me to do a video on what we feed our snails, and I am planning on doing that, so I will leave it there when it comes to the food. However, I do want to say that if you want to take a look at what we feed, I will leave links in the description box below. A lot of you were asking about what the green food is and how do we add the calcium, and we basically make up the Repashy gel food and then we add a calcium, and again I can leave links to all of that in the description box below if you want to take a look at them. Alright guys, I'm going to leave it there for now. I am going to do some follow-up videos on the mystery snails, and I'm also going to do some care videos. A lot of you have been asking for that as well. Like I say, we are planning on doing a tank setup just for these, so we will eventually get that together and we'll obviously do a video of that as well. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed to this channel and would like to see more videos like this, then please do so. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.